Hey y'all, how is everybody doing? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We are a couple of minutes early, but better early than late. Um, I am going to go ahead and do the introduction. For those of you who are new in this space, I am LaShonda Walford, the founder of this amazing All Bets on Me community. Tonight we have a special edition of Winning Women's Wednesday Spotlight. And the reason why this is special tonight, guys, is because Miss Turner is going to get into the importance of self care. We got a fun filled session packed full of information for you ladies. So please stay tuned. Thank you so much. I am going to now let Miss Turner introduce herself to the people. Let's welcome her. All bets on me, queens. Welcome her. Thank you
Thank
so much
you.
for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you
No
so much for
problem.
inviting me. I'm so happy to be here today. So I'm Danielle. I am a licensed clinical social worker, the CEO and owner of InterU Clinical Services. I am located in Bloomfield, Connecticut. I am also a self-care coach. And my mission is to, even if it's just one person, to empower them to take care of themselves. And I feel like I've done my job in life. I'm also a podcast host, so I host a Purple Butterfly podcast. And most recently, I just was part of the anthology with Tamara. So I'm very excited about that. So Blessed Not Broken, Volume 4, The Power of Letting Go. And in there, I talk about my journey to self care and kind of where that came from for me. So I'm very excited for everyone to read that. So thank you for having me.
No problem. Thank you for accepting the invite. Listen, congratulations
Thank
on the
you.
release of your book. Look, you went ahead and gave that away. I had it down here so we could talk about it a little bit. But that's okay. We're gonna get into that.
Okay.
I want you to tell us a little bit about because you have a social group on social media as well.
Yes.
Could you before we do that, guys, I need to do this disclaimer. I am on grandma duty. So if you hear my granddaughter is 11 months old, I got a 7 year old grandson. So, but she is, y'all know, 11 months old. So we can't really do this with them. So, if you guys hear her, she's fine. She's right here. My eyes are on her. She's not in danger. She's just kind of coming over here to see what I'm doing. So anyway, could you tell us what made you choose the profession that you're in?
So I went through my own challenges with mental health, and I was able to get the therapy and the services that I needed. However, the therapists and the individuals was working with, they did not look like me. They did not understand me. They didn't validate me. It was like, okay, so you say that you're sad, but yet you just told me you went to brunch on Sunday. Or last week your hair was brown, but this week is purple. And then, so they didn't really understand that Black girl magic happening. And so I just constantly felt like I had to always explain things and, trying to, what's the word I'm looking, convince them, I guess, for the most part, that despite the fact that I could look good on the outside, I still was struggling. And so at that time, I was working in child protection, which was a very stressful job. And I decided to leave and that I no longer wanted to really focus on children and work with adults. So my new job, working in a hospital, again, now I'm the therapist, but they don't look like me. I'm not relating, I'm not understanding, they're not understanding me. And so I felt like I needed to branch out so that I could work with the individuals, people of color, who needed, someone who could be relatable, who could understand, where didn't have to watch our language, or say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that, or have to explain, certain things. And so that's really what prompted me to start my own private practice, is because I wanted to help other women who were in my similar situation, where they could be validated and heard and understood, and just be okay and feel safe and vulnerable enough to really do the work to heal.
I think that's awesome. And I also find that when individuals choose a profession or a business, you're able to really relate when
Mhm.
it's something that you're connected to. Like that's something that is near and dear to your heart,
Right.
from experience. So when
Mhm.
you reach out, or when clients reach out to you for help, you're drawing from that place. Um,
Exactly.
that place of understanding, that place of trueness and realness. And just when you say to your clients, I understand what you're going through, those are not just words.
Right.
You actually understand. You are able to relate to them. So I think that is always a plus. And I like to see that, because the things that we as humans go through, they're not really just for us to go through them, grow through them, and then sit on it. You
Right.
know, so I love the fact that you chose something that you struggle with yourself. You saw the need, and you're now filling in the gap. So that
Mhm.
is awesome. Um, do you? I know that you said that you struggled with mental illness yourself.
Mhm.
Do you mind, like, kind of giving us just a little, like, talking about what exactly it was that you struggled with?
No, of course not. So one thing about me, I'm very transparent. I don't. It's facts. It happened. Here I am to tell the story. So I've struggled with depression since my early 20s. Um, and at the time where I was kind of in my darkest state, at that point, it was a lot of suicidal ideation, depression, very high anxiety that I was also dealing with. And so I knew that I needed to get some help, because it wasn't a place that I needed to stay in.
Right. That's good stuff.
Mhm.
Um, and now, like I said, I just love to see it, because now we can see you reach back and pull those people out of that place where you once were. Hold on one second.
It's okay. She wanted to
Okay.
be part of the conversation too.
She do. I guess the light, and I'm sitting here because normally they're at school and daycare when I do this during the day. So she's just like, what is going on over here? But back to what I was saying. Now, I know that self-care is very important to you.
Yes.
Can you share why self-care is important to you? And then also let us know why you teaching others and educating them on the importance of self-care. Why is that important as well?
So for me, it became a part of life, because I feel like it saved me, in addition to finding a therapist that I could connect with. Like my other therapists that I worked with over the years, they were good at their jobs for the most part, right? And they taught me the basic skills that I needed to no longer be in that dark space. But I still continued to struggle with my depression, for maybe another 5 or 6 years. And so finding a therapist that I could relate to and be vulnerable with was important. And being able to take care of myself and to pour into me is what really helps me to get out of that dark space, and to be grateful for the things that I have, whether it's good or bad, and to, really change those negative thought patterns that I had, because those thought patterns, they definitely will get you, and you'll start to spiral, and you'll be downhill real fast. And so for me, the self-care is what really I feel, in addition to attending therapy and working with a therapist who was for me, really helped me to get out of that dark space that I was in. And it really did save my life. And so I feel like for others, I see the value in self care. I see the value in taking care of yourself, even if it's for 5, 10 minutes a day, to be able to save your life so that you're able to also be productive and help others, because as women, if you're like me, I'm doing 5,500 things every hour on the hour. and so we're so busy with taking care of everyone else. We have this mentality that we got to get the kids ready. We got to take care of our significant others. We work, we're bosses. We have all these other roles, but yet we sometimes forget who we are. And so it's important to really remember who we are and take care of ourselves. um a couple of weeks ago, I was in Home Depot and someone came up to me and was like, "Hey, aren't you Daryl's sister?" It wasn't even like, "Are you Danielle?" It was, like, I'm always someone else. I'm someone's daughter, I'm someone's boss, I'm someone's aunt, I'm someone's mother, I'm someone's girlfriend, but it's very rarely where you're just Danielle. And so being able to really identify who you are and take care of yourself, I think is very, very important because we get so lost in all these other things that we have to do in our lives. Yeah.
Right. You are absolutely right when you say that. And it made me think about myself, because when I was younger,
Mhm.
like, I was not the social butterfly.
Mhm.
I talked to people, but not, I was really not social like that. And so everybody knew my sister. And so they would be like, "Oh, you're Dewana's sister." And then when me and my husband got married, it was, "Oh, you Travis' wife." So I was like, "Okay, I need people to know me for me."
Right? Like I have a name too.
Right. It's like, well, yeah, I'm Dewana's sister and Travis' wife. Okay. So yeah, that's funny that you said that. So was there like a what was that moment that you had to like shift your mindset and say, okay, I know I have to do self-care? Like, what was there? Did something happen to make you, you mentioned being in therapy,
Mhm.
but was it something that led up to that other than being in therapy?
Oh, I feel like it was a combination of challenging my negative thought patterns
Uh-huh.
and recognizing that despite those distorted thoughts that I was having, I still had a life to live. I have a son who I have to live for, and take care of. And so knowing that in order for me to do that, I also had to take care of myself, I think was the turning point. And it wasn't something that was comfortable at all. So I had to sit with doing something that was uncomfortable to get comfortable, if that makes sense, because I had sat in sadness and depression and anxiety for so long. And unfortunately, it was my comfort zone. It was what I know. And so now I'm being challenged to do something different. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I like this. This doesn't feel good. But I had to be uncomfortable so that I could get comfortable. So, I feel like it was just a combination of recognizing that I did have a life to live, that I had really great things going on around me. I have a great support system. I have really good people in my life, and wanting to be able to share the things that I'm doing with them and be here for them at the end of the day. And my son, he needs to know that he needs to take care of himself as well. And so I have to be an example to him of what he needs to be doing for himself.
Right, you're right. One of the things I find that people, it's a big misconception. A lot of people think when you say, I have to do self care or self care is important, they automatically assume that it's something that's, one, going to cost a lot of money, or
Mm-hmm.
two, take a lot of time. And
Yes.
really, it's not. It could
Mm-hmm.
be something as simple as taking 10 minutes, to just be by yourself, just
Exactly.
breathe, just,
Mm-hmm.
is there, what would you share, or what are some things that you can share, different things that people can do to practice self-care that's not costly?
Even simple things like drinking water, just drink your water, you know, even that can be self-care. I'm very big on water. It's all I drink, that and coffee. And so, getting in my 64 ounces of water every day, I feel good that I was able to do. I mean, I'm going to the bathroom every 10 minutes, but I'm getting in the water. I know that I'm taking care of my body. So even simple things like that, for me, self-care is anything that has a positive impact on you. And it doesn't mean going to the spa. It doesn't mean going to the gym. It doesn't mean spending a lot of money or a lot of time. It could be just getting up from your desk and stretching a couple times throughout the day. It could be, maybe you once a week you go get your favorite lunch during your work day. Just small things can be self-care, and those little things, they do add up if you're consistent with it. That's the key. Mhm.
And that's true because, like, for me, I know the importance of self care, right?
Mhm.
Because I've come to like a burnout
Mm.
um, point before, so I know the importance of it. But it's like I'll get in a routine, right? And I have my day that is
Mhm.
because I have a day that I actually just because you go so
Mhm.
much all week. You need that time to kind of just like replenish and
Yes.
just take a deep breath and just let it be about you. If it's
Mhm.
and that when I say that, I mean maybe I want to go to the store, maybe I don't. Maybe I want to put clothes on today, maybe I don't. I just want to
Mhm.
worry about me today. And so that schedule, I get away from it because something may happen on that day, and I feel like
Mm.
I have to be the one to okay, I gotta help, I gotta fix.
Right.
And so it's like it's okay because today is just one day that I missed, right? My self care to go take care of other things. And before you know it, I missed 4 weeks. Know? And it's just like this continuous cycle. And then it's like, oh, okay, hold on, bring it back. Let's
Mhm.
let's let's regroup. Let's start over. Now we
Exactly.
have to change, what I have in my mind is my idea of self care, but we have to be conscious of that.
Yeah.
So is there any like tips or advice that you can give for other women or not even just women but people in general um who lose sight of their schedule per se and we just keep going on this endless cycle?
Mhm. I say schedule it. Actually put it in your calendar. Block out, even if it means you have to block out from 9 to 9:15. I'm going to get up from my desk, walk around, go to the bathroom and drink some water. Like block out blocks in your schedule, whether it's through the day, whether it's through your week, even if it's through the month. Put it in your calendar, especially if you're a person who lives by to-do lists and calendars. Then put it that I tell everyone, put it in your calendar, schedule it. The other thing I always say is make a list of the things that you enjoy doing. So if for instance you like hiking, let's say, but you haven't hiked in 2 years, that's at the top of your list. And that's the thing that you do first because it's the thing you've done the least. And so making a list of 10 or 15 things that you enjoy that you can now go down your list and do throughout the week or the month or whatever it is very helpful. And that also helps you stay consistent because you're planning it and you know what it is that you're going to be doing instead of just kind of winging it, because winging it doesn't always work. And tell your family, hey, listen, Sunday mornings, this is my time. Don't bother me. I'm going to do XYZ, or this is my self-care time. And I need you to be, recognize that and be respectful of that time. So sometimes you just have to use your voice. And I think saying no is important. I'm a firm believer no is a whole sentence, period, the end. I don't have to explain anything to you. I said no, I'm not able to do it. Maybe I can do it later, but right now this is my time. And I have to make sure that I'm taking care of me.
Listen, that word no is magical. It is magical. I used to have a problem saying no,
Mhm.
where you would try to fit it all in and get it done, but that is no longer a problem for me.
Mhm.
I can say no, I cannot. And it does not bother me. And the thing about that is people that know you, they know if you say no, it's you just can't, right?
Right, right.
But even if they don't know you, you should not feel guilty for making the best decision for you,
Exactly.
you know?
Mhm. I
And that
agree.
when I started looking at it that way, it's like, because they still gonna be going. If I like
Mhm.
die right now, they're gonna be okay.
Exactly.
They're
Mhm.
gonna be okay. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And passing out from stress and anxiety is real. And you do not want that expensive Uber ride in an ambulance because you're overextending yourself for other people. That's just not healthy. And you're not being productive when you're overextending yourself. I can't help you if I can't help myself first.
And that is so true.
Hmm.
Um, I want to shift a little bit,
Okay.
and I would like to talk about the book
Okay.
That's Not Broken, Volume 4.
Hmm.
And do you mind sharing a little bit about like what's the name of your chapter and give us a little bit about what it was, what
Of
you wrote about?
course. So it's the journey to care is the name of my chapter, and it is based on the dark suicidal ideations and depression that I experienced after a divorce, and working a stressful job, being a single mom, and how I was able to move through that. I'm a firm believer that we don't get over things, but we learn to move through them because things happen and they're facts. And so I just don't, I never say, well, I got over something, but I was able to move through that. Like I said, with the help of therapy, with the help of self care, having good supports in my life, people, positive, motivating individuals to support me, was helpful. And one of the things that I talk about in my chapter is the soul care, is what I call it, that I did. Because for me, there's two different things. There's self care and then there's soul care. And so self care is those maintenance things like, yes, we're going to get to the gym. We're going to do our hair. We're going to get our nails done. We're going to do a bubble bath. We're going to eat healthy. Those are all self care maintenance things. But that soul care is the things we need to do to have peace within ourselves. And how are we taking care of ourselves mentally and emotionally and spiritually and socially, as well as physically too? And so, really talking about how I took care of me, my inside, and doing that inner child work to get to a better place. And so I actually have a workbook as well that's going to be coming out in the next week or so, working on that soul care, in addition to that self-care piece. So that's really what my chapter is about, and giving the blueprint on what you can do to move through something, let go of distorted negative thoughts of yourself. I felt like I wasn't good enough for so long, even though I had so many great things happening in my life, but it was so hard for me to see those things. And so, working through that, moving through it, and having the blueprint on how to move through negative thought patterns, take care of yourself, and really work on your inside.
I think that's awesome. And I actually can't wait to to read the book. But you touched on something just now when you were speaking, and I want to know if we can dig in that a
Mhm.
little, just unpack it just a little bit more. Um, you said that you had to work within, right?
Yes.
And that's the part that I think a lot of people um, they kind of tend to stray away from,
Mhm.
because when you work internally,
Mhm.
you're working on you, the
Yes.
things inside of you that
Mhm.
that is not working, that childhood traumas, like
Yes.
those things, and that kind of stuff is painful.
Mhm.
So people tend to put it back here somewhere
Right.
and not really deal with it. So I don't think people understand that a part of self care is the inner work.
Yes, exactly.
You can dress the outside up all you want to
Mhm,
and put all the glitz and glams on the outside, but internally, if that's
mhm,
not right, you're just, it's like you're gonna be on this endless cycle. It's just kind of like it's not kind of like, it's a facade.
yes.
Um, and so can you share like what that looks like when you were doing the work, like the internal work on yourself?
Mhm,
What was that like? What did it look like? Because I know, because I've had to do it myself.
mhm.
But can you just share a little bit about what that was like for you?
It is hard work because you really have to sit with the parts of you that you do not like. And you have to start liking those parts before you can even start to love those parts of yourself. And so, really self reflecting, having some self awareness, really meditating, really challenging any negative thoughts that you're having, affirming yourself is very important. Um, and even things like dating yourself, like being okay to go out to eat by yourself, be okay with doing nice things for yourself, be okay with going to a movie by yourself and just having alone time, because those are things that we struggle with. And I agree that a lot of times we do the self-care, the maintenance, right? So we could go to the gym and the spa and we could do all those things, but if we haven't worked on the inside, all those things are they're helping, but they're not really helping, if that makes sense. So really kind of sitting with yourself and being okay with who you are and having gratitude, I think, is also very key, because if you are not thankful for what you already have, then how are you telling the universe to give you more? You can't.
And I think that's good, because in every situation, there's still positives,
Yes.
there's still blessings
Yes.
within every situation. And you're right, you have to be willing to, you got to have gratitude for what you
Yes.
do have. And even though we as people tend to shy away from doing the work, um, but I think that's more fearful,
Hmm.
of what am I going to find out about myself? What do I have to? And when I find out things about myself, am I willing to accept what I find out?
And work on it.
Exact, and that's what I was getting ready to say next, because you have to be willing to accept it, right? So you're acknowledging that there are some things in me that's not right. There are
Hmm.
some things from my childhood that I've brought over into
Exactly.
adulthood with me, and I need to get it right.
Hmm.
And it's okay, because you know we all have things that we need to do internal work for.
Yes. Hmm.
And so, but you have to be willing. And I'm glad you said it, because it's not easy.
It
It's
is
very
not.
hard. But once you do it, it's very rewarding.
Yes.
Because then you're whole. So it's like you can move to different phases, because it's stages. But
Hmm.
you can't move to the next level if you're still stuck in this level.
Yes.
You know.
One of the things I do with a lot of my clients is when we talk about doing that inner child work, is we do a timeline and we go back to birth up until the age you are right now, and we stop at each age and we work on that age, that child at that age, that child at 5, that child at 10, that child at 15, so that you can move, because sometimes we're stuck. We might be stuck at 5 even though we might be 55, right? And so we have to work on healing that 5-year-old so now we can heal the 10-year-old, who can now heal the 15-year-old, and kind of going up the ladder of ages. And so it's important to really kind of work on that inner child and start from the beginning, but you have to be willing to go back to the beginning. And that is hard. And sometimes people don't want to go back because it brings up things that you've suppressed and that you don't want to deal with as an adult.
Right. You are absolutely right. I'm gonna just read. We have a comment here,
Hmm.
so I'm gonna read this one. And I'm sorry, it just says Facebook user, so it doesn't show names. So this one says, I think that it starts with inner peace, right? Getting in a quiet place, reflecting on
Yes.
those things God brought you from, and how not to go back and move forward, focusing on self care,
Yes,
right?
I agree.
Uh
Hmm.
huh.
That self-reflecting is very important.
It
And that
is.
radical acceptance, like I am accepting that these are the things that have happened. This is
Right.
where I'm at right now in life, and
Right.
accepting where I have to go to the for the future.
Right. Right.
Hmm.
Right. And I think that that's good. Acceptance is one of the key components,
Yes.
because it's like you have to accept where you are now. Well,
Hmm.
you have to accept what has happened,
Hmm.
and know that you can't go back and redo it, right?
Right.
But you can start right here where
Exactly.
you are, and you can move forward.
Yes.
Um, but you got to be willing to do the work. So
Hmm.
I think that is very true.
Yeah. That was a great comment.
Yeah, it was. Hey, Sarah, that was my Sarah. Hey, thank you for your comment. Thank you for being here. Okay, I just wanted to check the comments because I tend to get into the conversation. Um, I forget all about the comments. So, at this time, I just want you to just share whatever you have to share, like whatever is on your heart, um, regarding self care. And I want you to also include um, your practice, if that makes sense,
Hmm. It does.
because
So
it all kind of go hand in hand.
yes, yes. So the one thing I always say about self-care is that it literally is doing anything that is in a positive impact on you, and that's going to be healthy. So sometimes we think of self-care as, oh, we should go out and have some drinks, or we need to go out to eat, but if you're overdoing it, then that's not healthy. So just watching the things that you're doing, making sure that they are things that you are enjoying, and think outside the box. So for me, I am a very organized, like I'm a systems type person. Organizing is my thing. So when I'm stressed, like there, you will not be surprised to come into my kitchen and everything's out the cabinets all over, and I'm wiping the cabinets down and I'm putting everything back. To me, that makes me feel good to be organized. Someone else might be like, what in the world are you doing? But for me, that's self-care. So sometimes we have to think outside the box and not be so um what's the word I'm looking for? I guess like focused on the things that society says should be healthcare, So think of, if you like sharpening pencils, get you a box of pencils and sharpen them away. Like, have at it. I also think it's important that we have to recognize that rest and recharging is self-care, because we get into this habit of, well, I can't just sit and do nothing because I'm supposed to be doing something. And so we always have to be on the go, on the go, on the go. Sometimes we need to just sit down, and it's okay to rest. It's okay to take a nap. It's okay to binge watch TV sometimes. Those things are not bad. Those things can also be self care. And really trying to incorporate it throughout your day really does make a big difference. Like I said, drinking water, making sure you're getting up from your desk if you can, taking walks here and there, just doing whatever feels good for you in the moment. Maybe making sure you leave your desk for lunch. Because I know I get stuck where I'll just be at my desk and I'll be like, no, I'm just going to eat here. And instead of actually getting up, walking away. And now with everything being online, we need to take a break from the computers. That's very important. For me, a lot of things that I do for self-care, like I said, the organizing is my thing. Um, but on Sundays, washing my hair, conditioning my hair, I do a facial. Like that's my little Sunday routine. During the pandemic, when the nail salons were closed, I was giving myself a pedicure and doing my nails. They looked horrible, but I was doing it. So taking care of myself, Sunday mornings, like that's my thing. I'm a big breakfast person. During the week, I don't usually get to cook. So cooking a nice big breakfast on Sunday morning is self-care for me because then I get to sit down and enjoy eating a meal with my family, so that's very important. Um, what else do I do for self-care? I have a ceiling fan in my room. Sometimes I just lay there and watch it twirl. And that really feels good for me because it gives me time to kind of reflect on my day and to kind of process the things that I've done, the things I need to work on for the next day. And the biggest thing I do is, we always talk about journaling, but for me, I journal in the morning and I specifically journal affirmations. So I'm affirming myself for the day. I'm writing out my gratitude for the day. And I'm also writing out the things that I'm manifesting. And I'm writing out some goals. So that way, when I walk out the door, I already know what my goals for the day are. I know what I need to accomplish. I'm affirming myself. And I am very big on my ride to work. Like I'm singing all the songs. So I'm Mary, I'm Cardi B, I'm Megan, I'm everybody. And so that really kind of gets my day going and gets me in a good space for me to then go and deal with work and all the responsibilities that I have, throughout the day. So those are big. I also started to exercising. So I had started to have some health issues and I'm going to be 50 next week. And so I said, you know what, on this journey to 50, I got to do something different because I don't have any grandkids yet, but I'm hoping at one point and I want to be able to take them to Disney World, and do things. And so for me it was very important to start eating better, start exercising, losing weight, really just taking care of my skin and my hair and just really pouring into myself because my whole thing is like I'm gonna be 50 and fabulous. Like that's my thing. So so that's really been over like the last year, my really biggest self-care things that I've been doing is really just kind of getting ready for 50. So
Yay for 50.
I'm excited.
Yeah, yay for
I feel at
50.
50, you're like grown. Like no one can tell me anything but my mama. That's it. She's
Right,
supposed to
right,
tell me. But other than that, like you got nothing. Like
right,
that's gonna
right.
be my whole for the whole rest of the year. Be like, who you talking to? I'm 50. I don't know what you're talking about.
You already got your saying.
I've been
That's good.
practicing.
That is good. That's so good. But I I want to touch on something that you said while you was talking about you journal in the mornings. I
Mhm,
think a lot of people. I was just talking to my husband today because I
mhm,
try to get him to journal. It really works, but
mhm.
you know, I think once people start, they'll really and when you journal, just be honest. You know,
Yes.
put your honest like what you're feeling in that moment, like
Mhm,
write that there and be honest. And I think it helps so much. I used to journal a lot. I still journal, but nowhere near as much as I used to.
mhm,
And for me, I wake up early in the mornings. Between 4:30 and 5, I'm up.
mhm,
Without an alarm clock, I'm up.
mhm.
And that's what I use, what I call my I use that time for me,
Okay.
because I can get my mind right for the day. It gives you a chance to gradually get yourself into your
Mhm.
day versus the alarm clock going off. I gotta jump up. I gotta
Right.
shower. I gotta get ready. I haven't even had a chance to get my own thoughts together. I got
Right.
employees calling and texting and needing stuff. So it definitely helps. But what I get out of what you said, your morning routine is that's a mindset reset every
Yes.
day. It's a mindset reset every day. You're
Yes.
setting your mindset, you're setting the tone for your day.
Yes, yes, because that's important. How we start the day is how we're going to end the day.
Right.
And so, even though I might have some challenges throughout the day, I'm able to handle them a little bit better than the days where I don't do that and I'm just rushing to get into the office. It definitely sets the tone for your day like that to me is very important. And for me personally with journaling, because I used to journal a lot too, but I found for me, my journaling was really dark. And so it just fed into my negative thought patterns. And so I had to switch my journaling, and how I journal into making it more of a mindset, gratitude journaling to help me not spiral into those negative thought patterns.
It might help if I take my mic off mute. But you're right. Um, there's a comment here, and I wanted to post it because this is very true, and this is part of self care. Like,
Mhm.
she got. I like standing in the mirror, speaking life into me, telling myself things that's going to build me up, as
Mhm.
you should.
Mhm. One thing I found was really helpful is while you're affirming yourself, do it while you're putting on your lotion.
Yep.
And so speaking in the mirror, that's great. Do that as well, but put your lotion on kind of, because then you're what's the word? I want to say, like, you're feeling yourself, you know what I mean? And so like you're
Mhm.
really speaking those words into your body, you're really taking care of your skin, you're really caressing yourself.
Mhm.
And so you're really paying yourself attention and visualizing the affirmations, so instead of I'm beautiful, like really close your eyes and really visualize what beauty looks like for you. I think is also very helpful too.
Right. Now let's talk about affirmations because I love affirmations,
Hmm.
right? And what I realized the older I got is that they were always in our, when I say our life, I mean mine and my sisters in some kind of way.
Hmm.
Our parents just didn't refer to them as
Right.
affirmations, right?
Right.
But I absolutely love them, and I just I feel like it does something as a whole to a person, right?
Mhm.
But it means more when you can affirm yourself,
Yes.
because that's where it starts. Like, because people can affirm you all day,
Hmm.
but if you don't believe it,
Exactly.
you're then it's like they didn't even say anything to you.
Hmm.
You have, and I think that when you can affirm yourself, that's you're believing in what you're saying, right?
I
You
agree.
believe what you're speaking.
I agree. I agree. I think that affirming yourself is like right at the top of the list. You have to do that. And again, that's where that visualization comes in. That's where that standing in the mirror and looking yourself in the eyes and saying it, not diverting your attention, because sometimes we look in the mirror, but we're not really looking at ourselves. Like really pay attention to yourself while you're saying them. Really lotion your body up while you're saying them. Because that's really important, because again, like you said, you could tell me all day long that I'm beautiful, but that doesn't mean that I believe I'm beautiful.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think being intentional with
Yes.
what you're doing is important as well.
Hmm.
Um, and that's what I get out of when you say affirm yourself while you're putting lotion on, because you're really being intentional
Yes.
about what you're saying to yourself, what you're telling yourself, what you are affirming to yourself.
Hmm.
And that's something that we have to do more, is be intentional with our actions.
I agree. I think intentional with our words too. So
Yeah.
we could be affirming ourselves, but the way we're saying the
Mhm.
affirmation may not really be telling the universe what it is that we want. So, being like, oh, I hope I have a good day.
Oh
So
yeah, no, no,
you
no,
put
no.
hope in there. Now you
Mm-mm.
already doubting yourself before you even walked out the door,
Right.
instead of saying, I am going to have a good day. So really being intentional about the words that we're choosing, I think is very important as well.
I'm glad you pointed that out, because you are absolutely right. We can't affirm and then put words in there like hope.
Right.
I hope, because just that's null and void.
Yes.
Anything you said before hope, it doesn't
Exactly.
even count. So
Exactly.
I'm so glad that you pointed that out, because that is so true, and that's
Mhm.
important.
You got to be intentional with your words as well as your behaviors.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Let me see. I'm gonna check the comments. Oh, absolutely correct. Yes. Thanks, sis. Love that. Mm-mm. Okay. I'm trying not to neglect the comment section. Okay. Tell us about your podcast. I want to know
So
more about
it's
your podcast and your Facebook group as well.
oh yeah, we did talk. We did start to mention that, and I never got there, did I? I'm sorry, my bad.
That's okay.
so, so the podcast is the Purple Butterfly Podcast. And it's basically just for overall mental health and wellness. And so I touch on a lot of different areas because when we think of overall wellness, sometimes we just think of the mental health piece, but finances is wellness, eating healthy is wellness. I have a DJ coming on and talk about music and how that affects our mood. That's wellness. So I touch on all areas of life and how it affects our overall, wellness just as a whole. So I have a lot of guest speakers who come on. I'm gonna start to revamp it a little bit and do some solo ones as well, because I got a lot that I want to say too. And so so I got some stuff to say. So, I want to be able to say that as well. And then as far as Facebook, I do have Inner You Self Care Facebook group for women. And what I do is I go in there every day, do a post or two all about self care, women empowerment. This month, because it's Black History Month, I've been posting a quote from a famous Black woman or woman of color every day just to empower us women. So yeah, and the group is really in interactive, which I like. So I like talking to everybody and kind of seeing what they're doing and what they're doing for self care, and everyone is chiming in. So yeah, I love my group. It's a good group of women.
I love your group too. I'm a member of your group.
You know? I know.
So yeah, I think that it's much needed.
Hmm.
Um and it's just a great space to be in. So I definitely wanted to make sure we put that out there so that other women,
Yes,
can
please.
go over
Hmm.
and join your group as well
Yes.
because in this community we're supporting and we're building, but you offer something different
Hmm.
than they're gonna get over here. Now, yeah, you're here, we're having a conversation, but daily you're pouring into them in that group on self-care,
Yes. Yes.
all aspects, as you said. So I think it's a great space to be in.
Hmm.
And again, it's much needed. So
Yeah, so Inner You Self Care is the name of the group. So please feel free to join.
yeah.
I love to engage with everyone. And I really started it just for myself, just because I enjoy even on like my Instagram, doing posts, but I wanted something a little bit different
Mhm.
so that because it's just kind of like your Instagram, your Facebook sometimes always looks the same. So I
Right.
wanted something that was a little bit different, that was going to cater to just the women, because I feel like, with, like I said, everything that we do and all the roles and the responsibilities that we have, sometimes we need a safe space
Right.
where we can go, and even if you're not commenting or you're not saying anything, just to say, you know what, I can go over to Danielle's group and I know I'm going to get some motivation for the day, which is important.
That is very important. Again, I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of times, people enter a space because they're looking for something,
Hmm.
right? They're searching for something. They know what they need. And just because they don't say anything does not mean that they're not there. It does not mean that your
Exactly.
post is not reaching them and really speaking to them, right?
Yes.
So, I welcome what we call lurkers.
Mhm, mhm.
I welcome them because we never know what a person needs. Um, and so we're not there to judge. We're
Right.
just solely there to pour into them. We're there to inspire, motivate, uplift,
Mhm.
encourage, without having to know that they're there per se,
Right,
and
right.
without having to know why they're there, what brought them there.
Mhm. It's funny you say that because a couple weeks ago, or maybe like a month or so ago, it was maybe like a couple of days where I hadn't posted anything. And so I have a full-time job as well. And so I go into my full-time job and the ladies in the front were like, as I walk it by, they're like, okay, what's going on? Like, you haven't posted anything. And none of them ever comment or like anything. But like you said, they're definitely looking because they were on it. They were like, all right, we need a post tomorrow. Like, stop playing because your post gets us through the day, and they look forward to it. And so you're right, a lot of times we don't know what people need even if they're not interacting. I still feel it's important to still present and put it out there because you just never know.
Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna share this comment. Hi, ladies. Thank you for this space. Oh, you're welcome
Oh,
so
thank
much.
you.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate
Exactly.
you. We know that you could have been anywhere else, but you chose to spend your time here with us this evening.
Mhm.
So we are grateful and we thank you for being here with us.
Yes.
At this time, I would like for you to um, tell the people how they can connect with you. Like, how can they find you?
Okay, so again, my Facebook group is Inner You Self Care, and it's a Facebook group for women. My Facebook name is Danielle Turner LCSW. So feel free to friend request me as well. And Instagram, I am Inner You Clinical Services LLC on Instagram is my business page. And then my website as well, which is www.innerullc.com. And so on there, you can purchase the book. Again, I'll be having my soul care workbook coming out next week. Fingers crossed it'll be out by next week. So that will be on there as well for purchase too. So yes, please follow me. Please, I'm here for it. I love to interact and be a part of the community. And, thank you for also letting me be a part of your community as well, because I do appreciate you as well and the things that you post as well. It's definitely helps me get me through my day. So
Oh,
I
thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you for being in this space with us. I appreciate you being here. Um, hey Tangy. Wonderful talk.
Hey,
We take for granted
Tangie.
what our body needs. You're right, Tangy. We do. We
I
do take
agree.
it for granted. But I think, conversations like this, it just makes people more aware. And then it also lets people know that it's okay.
Mhm.
Like, it doesn't make you like self-centered or selfish just to want to take care of
Not
you.
at all.
You know,
Mhm.
it doesn't.
Mhm.
We didn't hear a lot about self-care when I was growing up.
Not at
And
all.
so yeah, so I mean, people, if they're not used to it, then they'll kind of tend to say, what is self-care? Like,
Mhm.
what do you, but don't worry about that.
Right.
If they can't accept you taking care of you, that's not for you to worry about. Just leave them over
Exactly.
there. They'll catch on or they won't. But it's
Mhm.
ultimately your responsibility to care for yourself.
Mhm. Two things that brought up. One, with Tangi's comment about taking care of your body. Like, we have to listen to our body. And so when we're tired, or if we're constantly sick, or we always got the sniffles, or our head is always hurting, our back is always hurting, those might be signs that we need to slow down and rest and recuperate. So we have to listen to our body, know your body, know what good things to eat that's gonna help versus if you're eating junk all day, you're gonna be sluggish. So I think that's really important. So I'm glad that Tangi brought that up. And then as far as kind of not knowing about self-care, I know for me growing up, I don't know that the women in my family knew what self-care was because they were so busy taking care of everyone else. And so before even getting out the house themselves, they done got everybody ready for school. They got their husbands out the door. They made breakfast. They made lunches. They still were in their pajamas. They weren't even dressed. Um, and so it was always what I saw was you have to take care of everyone else. even sitting down to eat dinner. My mom sat down last, but she was the first to get up because she was the one to get off everything off the table. She did the dishes. And so she didn't really have time for herself. So I don't know that as women in other generations really even understood what self-care was
Mhm.
or taking care of themselves because they were so focused and learned you got to take care of everyone else instead of yourself.
Right. You're right. I don't think they did.
Mm-mm.
But it's one of my and it's funny because I practice, like I said, I fell off a little bit, but I do. I practice self-care, and I plan to have the women, my aunts, my mom, my aunts, like everybody. I plan to do something special
Mm-hmm.
for them to
Mm-hmm.
get them kind of get their mind geared up to think about self-care
Mm-hmm.
more
Certainly.
often. Hold on one second. Yeah, but I plan on doing something special. Kids trying to get them to start thinking about self-care,
Mm-hmm.
a little more often. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I mean, and it's well deserved because we do so much for everybody else. And
Mm-hmm.
that I feel like is I don't want to say the least we can do for ourselves, but we deserve to
Yes.
give ourselves some self-care.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
This will be my last question.
Mm-hmm.
When you think of the term all bets on me, what does that mean to you?
For me, that means that one, I'm taking care of myself because no one else is going to do that. And so when I think of all bets, it means I put all my money on one thing and I don't want to say the word hope, but I am hopeful and I'm not even going to say hopeful. I'm taking that out the vocabulary, right? I just said that. So it means I'm putting all my money on something and it is a sure bet and it is going to happen. And so all bets on me means that I'm putting everything in me on me to take care of myself and I'm going to win.
I know that's right. I am going to win. Yeah, and
Yes.
did y'all hear how she said I'm taking hope out the vocabulary? So
Mhm.
let's all just take it out of the
Exactly.
vocabulary.
Be intentional with your words. And even when you slip up, take it back, rewind, reverse it.
Right, right, exactly. So what's next for you?
So, like I said, right now, I'm really positioning myself into doing some more self care coaching. And because, again, for me, my mission is even if it's one person or two individuals, helping them to develop a plan that is going to help them with their self care, then I feel like I've done my job. And then, as well as, continue with my podcast and, promoting the books and some more journals and, yeah, just doing my thing. So I'm
Look, yeah,
excited.
just continuing to be great.
Yeah, that part.
Continuing to be great, which is perfect. That's what we want, right?
Exactly.
Um, but we're gonna get ready to wrap this edition up. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for accepting the invite, and thank you so much for your patience.
Thank you. I
We've had to
appreciate it.
reschedule two times already. So today, when the co-host fell through, I said, "Grandma mode or not, this conversation is happening." You know, it's unrehearsed. This it is what it is. It's
This
one of
is
the hats
life.
I wear. One of the hats I wear is grandma. So
Mhm.
I'm in grandma mode, but we're here. And I thank you for coming on. I thank you for spending your time with us this evening. Thank you for sharing the gems and the tools that you shared in the group this evening. I certainly appreciate it.
Thank
And this
you.
will not be your last time.
Yes, please,
I
anytime.
Yeah, this won't be your last time because self care talks and just re-changing our mindset, just shifting it is
Yes.
needed.
Mm.
So thank you again. To all the Bets on Me queens who joined in this conversation, thank you guys so much. We certainly appreciate it. As I stated earlier, we know that you could have been anywhere else on this evening, but you chose to come here and spend your time here with us. So thank you so much. We are so grateful for each of you. You guys have a wonderful rest of your evening. Continue to rock this week out, and we will see you guys on the next Winning Women's Wednesday. All right.